Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something that just happened in Washington, D.C. Something that seems like great news on the surface, but when you dig deeper, it's complicated. We're talking about billions of dollars, millions of Americans, and a ticking time bomb that just got moved up. So stick with me here, because this affects all of us.
So, January 5th, 2025, President Biden signs a law. And on the surface, this looks like a huge win. 3 million Americans, teachers, firefighters, police officers, they're finally getting what they deserve. But here's the thing. This law also just cost us $196 billion. And it made the Social Security crisis worse. So, was it worth it? That's what we need to talk about today. Let me tell you about Sarah. She's a retired teacher in California. Spent 30 years in public schools. But here's what most people don't know. Before she became a teacher, Sarah worked in the private sector for 10 years. Paid into Social Security the whole time. So, she earned Social Security benefits, right? Well, sort of. When Sarah retired, she found out about this thing called the Windfall Elimination Provision, the WEP. And because she had a teacher's pension, the WEP cut her Social Security benefits by $500 every single month. Think about that. $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. Over a 20-year retirement, we're talking $120,000 for work she actually did, money she actually paid in. And Sarah, she's not alone. 3.2 million Americans were hit by rules like this. Teachers who worked summer jobs, firefighters who had careers before joining the department, police officers who did private security on the side, federal employees under the old civil service system, all of them punished for contributing to two different systems. It never made sense to me, honestly. Okay, so what were these rules? There were two of them. First, the Windfall Elimination Provision, WEP. If you worked a job that didn't pay into Social Security, like teaching in many states, but you also worked other jobs that did pay in, WEP reduced your Social Security benefits, sometimes by a lot. Second, the Government Pension Offset, GPO. This one was even harsher. If you got a government pension and your spouse had Social Security benefits, the GPO could reduce or completely eliminate your spousal or survivor benefits. I'm talking about widows who lost their husband's Social Security because they happened to be a teacher, that kind of thing. These rules were created back in the 1980s. They called them fairness measures at the time. But for millions of people, they felt anything but fair. So here's what happened. January 5th, 2025, the Social Security Fairness Act becomes law. Complete repeal. Both WEP and GPO gone. And on the surface, this looks like a huge win. Senate vote 76-20. House 327-75. In today's divided Washington, that's practically a miracle. What did it actually do? Well, Sarah now gets her full benefits back, $360 more per month on average for people like her. If you're a surviving spouse who was hit by GPO, you could see up to $1,190 more per month. And get this, it's retroactive to January 2024. So people are getting lump sum checks. Average, about $6,710. By July 2025, the Social Security Administration had already processed 3.1 million payments, $17 billion paid out. For these families, this is justice, finally. Decades of waiting, over. But, and you knew there was a but coming, right? Here's the other side of this story. The Congressional Budget Office did the math. This law costs $196 billion over the next 10 years. That's billion with a B. And here's the part that should worry everyone. The Social Security Trust Fund was already heading for trouble. By 2033, that's 8 years from now, the trust fund runs dry. When that happens, current law says benefits automatically get cut by 21%. Automatically. Unless Congress does something. This new law, it just moved that date up by about 6 months. Now look, this law didn't cause Social Security's problems. The system was already in trouble. But it did make the day of reckoning come a little bit sooner. So here's the dilemma, and I want to be really clear about this. On one side, individual fairness. 3 million people getting what they legitimately earned. Public servants who contributed to the system, playing by the rules, and got shortchanged for decades. That's real. On the other side, systemic pressure. A trust fund that's now going to run out faster. A crisis that just got a little bit closer. A problem that affects all 70 million Social Security recipients. That's real. Both of these things are true at the same time. Now here's what fascinates me about this. Why did this law pass so easily when other Social Security reforms can't get anywhere? I think there are 3 reasons. First, the beneficiaries. Teachers, firefighters, police officers. Who's going to vote against them? Nobody, that's who. These are sympathetic groups, they're organized, they vote, and they're spread across swing states. California alone, 580,000 people affected. Texas, 360,000. Ohio, Florida, hundreds of thousands in each state. No politician wants to be the one who voted against teachers and firefighters. Second, the cost is invisible. $196 billion sounds like a lot, right? It is a lot, but it's spread over 10 years, and it's split among all taxpayers. For the average person, it's maybe $1 a year, maybe. Nobody feels it personally. There's no line item on your tax return that says Social Security Fairness Act, $1. So, there's no political pain. And third, it was bipartisan. When both parties support something, nobody gets attacked for it in the next election. Republicans and Democrats could both go home and say, we stood up for teachers, we supported firefighters, we kept our promises. All true. What they didn't emphasize, we just added $196 billion to the deficit and moved the trust fund depletion date up by 6 months. That part didn't make it into the press releases. So this is what easy reform looks like. Concentrated benefits, 3.2 million people who really care. Diffuse costs, 330 million Americans who don't notice. Sympathetic recipients, who votes against teachers? And political cover. Both sides did it together. But hard reforms, that's a different story. Raising the retirement age, every voter is affected. AARP mobilizes millions against it. Cutting cost of living adjustments? They're cutting grandma's benefits. That's the attack ad, and it writes itself. Increasing payroll taxes? Clear losers. Wealthy people, business owners, they fight back. Those reforms are still stuck. And this is what worries me. The Social Security Fairness Act shows us what the political system can do and what it can't. It can fix specific problems for specific groups when the politics line up just right. But universal solutions, the kind that ask everyone to adjust a little bit, that require shared sacrifice, we're still waiting. So here's what's probably going to happen. We've got 8 years left until 2033. And I think we're going to see more laws like this one. Teachers and firefighters, done. Next, maybe veterans. That's got strong support. Low-wage workers getting minimum benefit increases, politically viable. Widows and widowers, bipartisan sympathy. Disabled workers, probably. Each one of these, individually, they make sense. They're justified. But collectively, They're unsustainable. Each one costs money. Each one moves the crisis date forward a little bit more. And then, sometime between 2031 and 2033, probably when the trust fund is just a few months away from running out, Congress is going to finally act. Emergency legislation, passed in a hurry, benefit cuts, tax increases, retirement age changes, all at once, all without much time for anyone to adjust. They'll call it saving Social Security. But it won't be thoughtful reform, it'll be crisis management. Because that's how our system works. We wait until the last possible moment. It happened in 1983. Trust fund was months from running dry. It'll probably happen again. So here's what you need to understand. Don't wait for Washington to figure this out. You can't count on being in one of the protected groups. Sarah, the teacher, she got lucky. Her group was sympathetic enough, organized enough, and politically valuable enough to get protected. But what about you? You can't predict which groups will get carved out when the crisis finally hits.
So plan as if things are going to get tighter. Plan as if benefits might be reduced. Plan as if the retirement age might go up. Plan as if cost of living adjustments might get smaller. If those things don't happen, great, you're in better shape than you expected. But if they do happen, and there's a pretty good chance they will, you'll be ready. Because here's the thing about the Social Security Fairness Act. It was justice for 3 million Americans. I genuinely believe that. But it was also a warning about what's coming. 8 years left. The clock is ticking. And the question isn't, will they fix it? The question is, when they finally do fix it, will you be ready for how they do it? That's what we need to be thinking about. If you want to go deeper on this, why our political system struggles, I've got an extended analysis on Patreon, link in the description. But either way, start planning now. Don't wait.
If you have questions about any of these topics or want me to dive deeper into specific areas, leave a comment below. Your curiosity and engagement help shape the next videos I make. The more specific your questions, the better I can address the real issues you're facing. Drop a comment, share this with someone who needs to see it, and let's keep building understanding together.